What's up guys, and welcome back to Auto Wisdom. Today I'm sitting behind the wheel of a 2022 Toyota A90 generation Supra. This particular Supra is finished off in this gorgeous shade of a white metallic paint over this black leather interior, and it features a very tasteful reduction in ride height courtesy of a set of HKS lowering springs. Aside from that, the vehicle is completely stock. The A90 generation of the Toyota Supra was quite controversial with its initial release due to Toyota's partnership with BMW in regard to the engineering of this vehicle and its borrowed chassis and hardware elements that were incorporated into the car itself. This utilizes the B58 single twin-scroll turbocharged inline six-cylinder engine that was updated for the 2021 model year to produce 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. This particular variant of the B58 engine features 6 exhaust ports as opposed to 2 with the initial launch version of the car, a lower compression ratio, and a slightly revised piston design for the added boost. It's paired up to a supremely quick ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, and all the power is sent to the rear wheels courtesy of an electronically controlled limited slip differential. All in all, that's good for a 0 to 60 time of approximately 3.9 seconds, which is nothing to sneeze at for an internal combustion engine sports car in this price segment. And we also have a specifically tuned chassis that features a short wheelbase with a wider track, which is what Toyota mandated for the development of the Supra. The engine has been pushed back closer to the firewall to aid in the car's very well balanced 50-50 weight distribution. The center of gravity actually sits lower than a Toyota GR86, which makes this car extremely well balanced from a handling perspective. We have 4-piston Brembo brakes up front and a wonderful sounding dual exit sports exhaust that obviously adds to the immense sports car character of the Toyota Supra. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and take this car out on the road and see how it drives. Right off the bat, the A90 Supra feels incredibly well balanced and smooth when it comes to the overall chassis dynamics of this car. Currently driving it through some lovely Southern California back roads on this autumn morning. And what I'm really impressed by is the steering. It's light and it's sharp. It's extremely direct and responsive. The car feels so nimble on its feet, like it's ready to dance through corners and back roads. And I can only imagine on a track how incredibly tossable this car would feel. Not a whole lot of communication in regard to, what's actually being translated from the front axle on the pavement to the steering wheel itself, but that's to be expected with a modern car that's utilizing EPS power steering setups. But I can very much appreciate the point and shoot dynamics that the steering offers in the A90. In terms of overall power, this B58 engine feels very, very healthy. 382 horsepower, it almost feels slightly underrated just because of how hard the car pulls. It makes a lovely sound. We get a lot of induction and exhaust noise coming through the cabin of this car, and just the instantaneous torque that is coming on as early as 1800 RPM, revving out to roughly 6500 RPM at redline is a very, very healthy power band to work with. And from a turbocharged standpoint, there is a relatively minimal amount of lag, not a whole lot that I'm detecting. And the car just has torque on tap regardless of where you are in the power band. You plant your foot into the accelerator and you feel a nice and smooth shove where you feel yourself, getting pressed back into the driver or passenger seat. And it really just adds to that amazing, Supra character that we've all come to know and love with this iconic car. The ZF8 transmission is so snappy, and the calibration with the Supra for this car is very, very well done. It's extremely quick to upshift, it rev matches without any hesitation on downshifts, and it's got a very snappy character to it. In fact, it might be one of the best implementations of this 8-speed automatic transmission that I've ever experienced in any production vehicle. It is really, really good. car corners very, very flat. It feels so controllable in regard to the overall body roll. There is a great degree of confidence that I can feel from the driver's seat. Under throttle, it doesn't feel like the car wants to slide out. The limited slip differential does a great job of executing power delivery to the rear axle of the car. And the car just sails away effortlessly. It's also important to note that the Supra of the A90 generation for a modern car is relatively lightweight with a curb weight of around 3,350 pounds or so. It is very impressive to see how Toyota engineered the chassis of this car from a rigidity standpoint, and it is really, really fast. It's so eager to rev out, and here if we're stepping a little hard on the brakes, really, there isn't a whole lot of hesitation when it comes to slowing this thing down. It is quite effortless. I do feel like if you were driving this car on a track, you'd want to upgrade the brake pads and probably throw in some upgraded fluid. But for the street and back roads, it is very sufficient. The brake pedal is a little bit soft. I would like it to be a tad bit firmer in regards to the overall feedback and pressure when you are applying, some level of braking application to the pedal. But for street use, it is more than sufficient. And I just love how effortless this car can just take open sweepers and even technical back roads as well. It is a very, very well sorted car, and I just love the overall balance that it provides. From an interior standpoint, this car also has a very nice driver position. I do like the cockpit. It is very driver-centric with this very clear and easy to read digital/semi-analog gauge cluster with this nice and easy to read tachometer front and center. You get this large and beefy steering wheel that I wish was a little bit smaller in diameter and was a little bit sportier to kind of reflect on the rapid nature of this car. But my absolute favorite aspect of the Supra is how low you sit. Not only is the chassis just very low slung with this low roofline, it's a sleek design, but the driving and seating position can be seated very, very low right out of the box, which I love because it just helps to really make you feel like you're one with the car, which many of us enthusiasts and track rats can appreciate. So much power on tap. This B58 engine is so impressive, especially in this particular application with 382 horsepower. So much torque on tap. It's so eager to rev out. And it just sounds so good. Listen to that engine. It's just so clean and smooth sounding, just like a traditional turbocharged inline-six power plant that we've all come to know and love with our favorite BMWs and now the Supra as well. And it just picks up speed without any sort of issue. It's addicting, it's intoxicating. And with this low slung chassis and this McPherson strut, multi-link setup with the suspension, what a joy to rip this car on back roads, and I can only imagine how exciting it would be on an actual open circuit at a track day. I see what the hype is all about with the Toyota Supra, guys. The combination of power delivery with the B58 engine, limited slip differential, and this rapid firing 8-speed automatic transmission makes for a very, very good combination of powertrain dynamics. And it just feels playful. It feels light on its feet. It really embodies everything that a sports car should. And I think at the price range, particularly in the used market of around, anywhere between $45,000 to $55,000 for a relatively clean early model year A90 Supra, this is a lot of bang for the buck, and arguably one of the best sports cars you can buy for the money that is on sale today. I wanted to extend a huge shout out to the owner for allowing me to rip on this car today and really experience it properly through some back roads. What an absolute joy to drive. Cannot say enough good things about this car, to be quite honest. And that is going to wrap it up for the review on the A90 Supra. I hope you all enjoyed, and with all that being said, I will catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, my friends. Bye-bye.